Good evening, y'all. Welcome back to night 2 of our virtual VBS. And I'm going to do a little recap. First off, my verse was the wrong verse. That was for the verse of the week. It's actually Psalm 145:1. So it's written here, and I'll read it to you in just a second, so that way you can hear it again. It says that, "And I will exalt you, my King, my God, O King, and I will bless your name forever and ever." And that's Psalm 145:1. That was the correct memory verse for the week. Sorry for writing the wrong one. The other one was our focus one for God is great. Tonight's focus one for tonight's lesson is going to be from Jeremiah 32:27, and it says, "Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is anything too hard for me?" That's the focal one for tonight. And our lesson focus, which is on this board here, says, God is almighty. He is all-knowing and all-powerful and all-present. Okay? So we're going to do a little recap. We learned yesterday that God is great. And you can know the one true God. And this was the little poster we had to go with it, telling them about how they could learn about the one true God and not worship the idols. And we had a character we should have met last night that I didn't get out in time. And it was Camo the Chameleon. He changes colors, but God never changes. He is forever great. And this is what he looks like. Camille. And we have a new character for tonight. Tonight's character is going to be Flip the Flapjack Octopus. Lives at the bottom of the sea. God knows where she is and what she's doing. God is almighty. And this is Flip the Flapjack Octopus. Okay. Tonight's story lesson is going to be about Jonah. And Jonah is 5 chapters long, so I didn't want to read all 5 chapters to you, so 4 chapters long. So I'm going to summarize it for you in just a few minutes. But it says, God knows where we are and what we are thinking. And then this is the picture we have for this lesson. Okay. So, do you know what omni means? I'll give you a second to think about it. Ask your parents maybe or whatever. Okay. Omni means all. Okay? So we'll return back to the omni part. But first we're going to go over a brief summary of what the book of Jonah is about. It says, one day God asked a man named Jonah to go to a place called Nineveh and tell the people living there to stop being bad. The only problem was that Jonah didn't want to help the people there. He knew they were bad and he wanted them to be punished for their mistakes. So instead of listening to God, Jonah thought he would run away from Nineveh and not do what God asked him. He ran to the sea where he found a ship that was going to another city. He paid the captain, went in the lower part of the boat, and went to sleep. Shortly after the boat left the shore, a very bad storm came up and started tossing the boat around. All the men were very afraid, so they started to throw all their packages and bags overboard in hopes that they wouldn't drown. The captain soon went to find Jonah, who was still sound asleep in the boat. He said to Jonah, "How can you sleep? Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he can help us." The captain didn't realize that Jonah didn't just believe in any God, but the one true God, and that he could help them. Meanwhile, the other sailors decided that the storm was Jonah's fault. He must have done something wrong to make his God so angry. So they asked Jonah, "What have you done? What God do you believe in? What can we do to make the storm stop?" Jonah told them, "I believe in the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the land, and I am running away from something God asked me to do. It is my fault If you throw me into the sea, the storm will stop." The men didn't want to hurt Jonah by throwing him off the boat, so they tried to row the best they could. But the storm just got worse. So they picked up Jonah and threw him into the sea. The storm immediately calmed, and the sea became still. The men on the boat realized that Jonah believed in the one true God and prayed to him. Then the captain and the crew looked out to sea as a whale came by and swallowed up Jonah. God actually sent the fish to keep Jonah from drowning. Jonah stayed in the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Just think for a second. What would it be like inside a fish? There are no windows, so you can't see anything. And lots of strange things floating around that you can't see because it's so dark. So he's in that belly of the fish, and there could be other fish floating in there with him, trash, who knows what. But he can't see it because it's so dark in there. There's no light, nothing. Other than that, I'm not sure what it would be like. But Jonah probably didn't know if he would ever see daylight again. While Jonah was trapped inside the fish, he did a lot of praying to God. He asked God to forgive him for running away. He also thanked God for not allowing him to drown. After the 3rd day, God told the fish to spit Jonah onto dry land, and the fish did that. Jonah was so happy to be out of that dark belly of the fish, but boy, did he need a shower. He was slimy and smelly. Then the Lord told Jonah a second time to go to Nineveh and tell the people there to stop being bad. This time Jonah obeyed God and left for Nineveh right away. When Jonah got there, he told the people what had happened to him. He warned them that God said that they should stop doing bad things, or in 40 days the city and everything in it would be destroyed. To Jonah's surprise, the people listened to him, and they prayed to God, and they said sorry for all the bad things they had done. Soon the king of Nineveh heard what was going on, and he ordered everyone listening to God and to stop doing bad things. And when God saw that they were trying to do good instead of bad, he felt love for them and did not destroy their city. That could be the end of the story, except Jonah left the city very angry. He was mad that God didn't punish the people. He knew that God was a loving God and didn't want to destroy anything if he doesn't have to. So Jonah went on a hill and sulked. You know what sulk means? Sulk means he was like mad and everything, so he kind of just sat in his feelings. God saw Jonah and knew he was feeling, so he explained to Jonah that he loves everyone. After all, he made all of us. He doesn't just like to destroy people who are doing bad. God would rather see us turn from our bad ways and do good again, which means like whenever we do something bad, we always ask God for forgiveness and everything. That's his way of forgiving us and allowing us to continue on, because if we continued with our bad and didn't ask for forgiveness, he could destroy us or anything that we were doing. Okay, so now we're back to the 3 O's. There's 3 O's. Omniscient, which is God knows everything. Omnipotent, which is God is all-powerful. And omnipresent, God is all-present, meaning he is everywhere at the same time, all the time. Next, we're going to look at Psalm 139. And this one's a little shorter. O Lord, Psalm 139, verse 1. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know my sitting down and rising up. You understand my thoughts afar off. You comprehend my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word on my tongue, but behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You have hedged me behind and before, and laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain it. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend into heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If If I say, surely the darkness shall fall on me, even the night shall be light about me. Indeed, the darkness shall not hide from you, but the night shines as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you. For you formed my inward parts, you covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul I know very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret, and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance, being yet unformed, and in your book they were all written, these days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them. How precious also are your thoughts to me, O God! How great is the sum of them! If I should count them, they would be more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Oh, that you would slay the wicked, O God! Depart from me, therefore, your bloodthirsty men, for they speak against you wickedly. Your enemies take your name in vain. Do I not hate them, O Lord, who hate you? And do I not loathe those who rise up against you? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxieties. And see if there are any wicked ways in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. That end there of that basically is kind of what you would say during your forgiveness part, if you had committed a sin and you needed to ask forgiveness for it, or even if you accepted Christ as your Savior, that's what you would say is in your prayer that you're accepting Christ. You would be saying, and see if there is any wicked in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. The way everlasting means lead me to you, Lord, away from all the sin that I'm doing, and try and lead me the correct way so that I don't sin. But we are all sinners and fall short, so we're going to all have to ask for forgiveness. And we have, who was our animal PayPal today that reminds us about God? Remember, I showed you the animals. I accidentally showed you two of them. One was from yesterday and one was from today. But today's is Flip the Flapjack Octopus. She lives deep in the mysterious dark bottom of the ocean, but God knows exactly what she's doing and where she is. He is there with her. He is with everyone. That's why he is omnipresent, because he can be everywhere all the time. Who tried to run away from God, and why? I'll give y'all a second to think about that. The answer is Jonah. He didn't want to go to Nineveh because the people were cruel. Jonah could run from God, but he couldn't hide. And where was he trying to hide? Give y'all a second. He was hiding in the boat when he was floating away from the city. What did the sailors do with Jonah? Jonah told them what they could do to make the storm go away. What did they have to do to make the storm go away? They threw him overboard. What happened after they threw him overboard? Is what Jonah said true if they would throw him overboard? Yes, it is true, because God stopped the storm once they threw Jonah overboard. What does omniscient mean? You remember when I told you all three of those? That one means all-knowing. God has never learned anything. He has already known everything. What does the word omnipresent mean? It means all present. God is present everywhere at the same time, all the time. He's right now. He's here right now, even though we can't see him. And what does the word omnipotent mean? It means he's all powerful. God can do anything he chooses. Of course, he wouldn't choose to do anything evil or wrong because God is perfect, or we are not perfect. Okay, here's another true and false for you. God can handle every problem I have. Do you think that's true, or do you think it's false? It's true. We don't need to be anxious because God is much greater and bigger than what we are thinking, and he can handle it. So if you come across a problem that you're nervous about or scared and can't figure out, take it to the Lord in prayer, because he is there and he can give you a calming spirit to calm over you and let you know that God has this and he'll take control of it. Can you think of an example that shows God's power, presence, or knowledge? It can be anything about God's presence or knowledge. God knows everything. So if you could be like thinking, okay, I'm going to think about cat, but over here I'm going to be thinking about dog. God's going to know that you're thinking about both because he knows everything. There's no way to trick God because he's perfect and knows everything. Okay. What do we write? Okay. Today's Bible verse that I read for this section that goes along with what we talked about says, "Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is anything too hard for me?" Jeremiah 32:27. And our main theme one is the Jeremiah 1:45, verse 1. "I will exalt you, my God, O King, and I will bless your name forever and ever." That's the one we need to try and memorize to know at the end of the week. Psalm. What did I say? I didn't mean Jeremiah. I meant Psalm 145, verse 1. Now I'd like to take a time to say prayers and thank y'all again for tuning in to this lesson. Dear Lord, I thank you for gathering the children and giving me the opportunity to teach these lessons to them, Lord. I hope they are listening to this and getting something out of it, Lord. And if they feel that they want to make a decision about you, that they will feel comfortable and will come and express it to one of us after VBS is over, or maybe send a text during the week if they decided they accepted Christ or whatever. But I thank you for just allowing the ability for us to do this virtual VBS in the current situations that the whole world is in, Lord. And I just pray you'll be over everybody and that this message touch somebody's heart. And I pray all these things in your precious holy name. Amen.